Greetings and praise the Lord. Welcome to our daily devotion. Today's episode is on pleasantness, and it is the second episode, and we are on kindness. And yesterday we were able to begin, and it was really powerful. And I'll ask you, if you are not able to listen to yesterday's, please do so that you'll be able to follow up and be able to have a flow on pleasantness. And today we would like to see about Joseph, and that is in Genesis chapter 45. And you know very well the story of Joseph because of him being a dreamer. That when he shared his dreams with the brothers and even the family, the brothers were jealous of even the dream of him being their leader. And therefore they sold him to Egypt. And going to Egypt, Joseph went through a lot. Actually, he was sold to be a slave, but God was with him and promoted him until he became a leader in Egypt. And it was during the famine that the brothers were sent to go to Egypt because Egypt had survived the famine and they are the only ones who had food. And this was because of the wisdom that Joseph had, that Pharaoh was able to have the nation sustained, and even knowing that they were going to have a famine of about 7 years. Which Joseph had already revealed according to the dream of Pharaoh. So we see that the famine was real. It was there all over the world. And therefore, people were going to Egypt to go and buy food. And the brothers go there, and one of the brothers is kept behind. That is, Simon is left in Egypt because Joseph insisted they have to go and bring the other brother. And when they took the other brother, then Joseph had already known those are his brothers, but they could not recognize him because he was behaving like an Egyptian. He was dressed like an Egyptian. He was speaking like an Egyptian. There was no way they would have recognized him. And in their thoughts, they knew that Joseph was not existing anymore. They knew that he was not alive, and that is what they had lied to their father. Now a time comes for them. Now when they go back, Joseph insists that for them to get back, and so for them to get more food, because he knew very well they were going to go and get some more food, because the famine was not going to be, it was going to last 7 years. So they have already left Simon in prison in Egypt, and they've gone to their father and told him about what has happened. And they insist now a time has come. The food, they are done. They don't have any more food. They need to go and buy the food. And the father was refusing and did not want Benjamin to go with them because he did not want to face another ordeal of losing another son. Actually, he was counting now 3 sons, losing 3 sons. I mean, he'd rather be dead than losing another one. But then, because of the famine, he had to let go. When they go back to Egypt, then you know what? Joseph even cried when he saw his brother. But now, this time, and even they had dinner together, and after dining together again, it was now for Benjamin to be left. And they are called back because the Joseph's cap was already put in Benjamin's sack. And when they go back, Joseph insists that Benjamin has to remain behind, and asking them, why do you pay evil? Why do you pay good with evil? And there, Reuben says he'd rather be the one left because he had already promised the father that he'll be responsible and will make sure that he'll take Benjamin back with him safely. But now, this time, um, is when now Joseph reveals himself to the brothers. And let's see what happens in Genesis 45. Then Joseph could not control himself in front of everyone standing before him, and he shouted, Have everyone leave me. So there was no one with him when Joseph made himself known to his brothers. Then he wept so loudly that the Egyptians heard it, and the household of Pharaoh heard about it. And Joseph said to his brothers, "Am Joseph my father? Am Joseph, is my father still alive?" But his brothers could not answer him, for they were terrified in his presence. Why were they terrified? It's because of what they had done. They had actually made sure they wanted to get rid of Joseph. And there he is. God had sustained him, and he was there, the one who is in charge, and he can say whatever he wants for them to even to be punished for what they did. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "Please come closer to me." And they came closer, and he said, "I am your brother Joseph, whom you say you sold to Egypt. Now do not be grieved or angry with yourselves because you sold me here, but for God sent me ahead of you to save lives. For the famine has been in the land these 2 years, and there are still 5 years in which there will be neither plowing nor harvesting. So God sent me ahead of you to ensure for you a remnant on the earth, and to keep you alive by a great deliverance. Now, therefore, it was not you who sent me here, but God, and he has made me a father to Pharaoh and lord of all his household and ruler of all the land of Egypt." So now Joseph is actually telling them not to take the blame on themselves, because it was in God's plan that he had to go to Egypt to preserve them. That was one way of making sure that Joseph was in a position where he can rescue his family. And hurry and go up to my father and say to him, "This is what your son Joseph says. God has made me Lord over all Egypt. Come down to me, do not delay. For you shall live in the land of Goshen, and you shall be near me, you and your children and your grandchildren, and your flocks and your herds, and all that you have. Then then I will also provide for you, for there are still 5 years of famine to come, and you and your household and all that you have would be impoverished. Behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin see, that it is my mouth which is speaking to you. Now you must tell my father of all my splendor in Egypt, and all that you have seen, and you must hurry and bring my father down here." Then he fell on his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept on his neck. And he kissed all his brothers and wept on them, and afterward his brothers talked with him. Now, when the news was heard in Pharaoh's house that Joseph's brothers had come, it pleased Pharaoh and his servants. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Say to your brothers, do this, load your livestock and go to the land of Canaan, and take your father and your households and come to me, and I will give you the best of the land of Egypt, and you will eat the fat of the land. Now you are ordered, do this, take wagons from the land of Egypt for your little ones and for your wives, and bring your father and come. And do not concern yourselves with your property, for the best of all the land of Egypt is yours." They've already started inheriting that which they did not deserve. But because it was in God's plan for them even to bow before Joseph, it was time for them to come to this season of realizing and knowing that if Joseph was kind enough to forget and even to forgive them of what they have done, to forget the past and look forward and see what is ahead and what God has kept for them. Then the sons of Israel did so, and Joseph gave them wagons according to the command of Pharaoh, and gave them provisions for the journey. To each of them he gave changes of garments, but to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of garments. And to his father he sent the following 10 male donkeys loaded with the best things of Egypt, 10 female donkeys loaded with grain, bread, and sustenance for his father on the journey. So he sent his brothers away. And as they departed, he said to them, "Do not quarrel on the journey," because he knew they were quarrelsome. He knew how they were. And he was giving them a warning not to go quarreling his brother Benjamin because he had more than them. Then they went up from Egypt and came to the land of Canaan to their father Jacob. And they told him, saying, "Joseph is still alive, and indeed he is ruler of all the land of Egypt. But he has turned, for he did not believe them." He was stunned, for he did not believe them. When they told him all the words of Joseph that he had spoken to them, and when he saw the wagons that Joseph had sent to carry him, then the spirit of their father Jacob revived. Then Israel said, "It is enough for my son Joseph. It is enough, for my son Joseph is still alive. I will go and see him before I die." What a blessing that Joseph did not carry anything from the past. He did not carry forward the things that were happening to him, all the things that were evil that were done to him. He did not carry them forward. And because of letting go, he was able even to be connected again with his father, with his family, and even continue ruling and becoming their leader. The leader they had refused, the leader they had destroyed, has become a leader that God has raised. I am speaking into your life now. It does not matter how people have, maybe they've thrown you into the bottomless, into the pit that you cannot even get out of it. But I am here to tell you that God Almighty is with you, and he knows, and he has planned great and wonderful things. Yours is to forgive and forget the past and move forward, because God has a great plan for you. He has purpose to raise you to become a mighty woman and man of God, a mighty warrior that is having breakthrough one after the other. Like Joseph, who had breakthroughs one after the other, and now the final one is coming when he's gonna meet his father, when he's gonna have all the brothers bow before him and salute him and honor him, because he's the one in charge of the leadership in Egypt. May the Lord bless you as you purpose to walk in God's ways and as you serve him and become kind. Don't look at the past. Look at what God has in store for you. It's ahead of you. Don't turn back. Look unto the Lord, who is the author and the beginning of your faith. May the Lord bless you. This is Bishop Dr. Grace Kariuki of Amazing Grace International Ministries and Abundant Glory International Ministries, mother to the CMCs around the globe and mother to the amazing champions. I ask you to log in to our website at www.agracem.org. Also, follow us on YouTube and Facebook. Like, subscribe, share, and let us hear your comments at Bishop Dr. Grace Kariuki, and also at Kariuki Bishop Dr. Grace. God bless you for now as you continue to honor the Lord in having kindness. Be pleasant so that you can offer kindness to others. God bless you for now. Shalom. Shalom.